right, good evening here, good afternoon.
How are you?
Doing great here, ready to go for this week.
When you kind of reviewed the film, I guess what was your takeaway on the issues in the red zone?
It was almost similar to talking about third down in the past, where it felt like we had a better third down day in the field there, and then the red zone, just a couple things, each trip down after that first trip in which we were able to get the touchdown, that prevented us from getting points, whether it's the penalties or the just some negative plays there. So just, again, great day, a great week to work on those issues, fix any issues that came up in the game, and then move on and move forward to the Cardinals.
Given how much conversation there's been around that, is there a point where it becomes overemphasized, or it's in guys' heads too much, or is that not even a thing when?
Yeah, I'll reference the Detroit game, where we had a similar offensive look there, where we're getting into the red zone a few different times, including at the end of the game, and we are able to finish there. Unfortunately, this past week they got the best of us in the red zone, and you had the 5 trips in there and only getting the 1 touchdown. That's not what we're looking for, and something that we'll look to fix, but not something we feel like is a problem, because we've had the experience down there and come out on the right end of that scenario right there. So just working to fix it, not putting stress, not making it bigger than it is, and trying to find as many championship opportunities throughout the course of the week in practice, every game that we play, where we keep all of these opportunities that come up, in the mindset of, hey, they're all the same, you're prepared for it, you're ready for those moments, and every now and then they don't go our way, and then you move on to the next one, so that you don't let the last experience in a negative way impact your next one.
What did you like? You mentioned third down was a little better. What did you like about that?
I thought we had some good individual one-on-ones. The guys are battling in the protection world right there. Bobo had the good run after catch after he is able to convert on the third down, kind of in that high red zone, strike zone area there. And Geno playing in a good rhythm on third down, and something we'll look to continue. And like I said, then add let's get back on in a balanced world in the red zone there, which includes being able to run the ball, includes being able to take those completion plays, and all add those in together, and then just keep working to bring together an offense that's balanced and that continuity throughout the course of 4 quarters of the game.
Has it been a challenge at all with just kind of the continual moving parts on the offensive line, when it comes to those situations at all?
I think the guys have continued to do a great job with the next man up mentality up front. It was great to get Charles back in this past game here, playing left tackle. But all the guys that have been in and out have done a great job. They're working and working to correct anything that comes up within the game. The thing that compliment those guys on is their effort and their attention to detail throughout the course of the game on the sidelines, ability to fix any issues that might come up. So they're doing a good job of holding things together. And again, Evan Brown did a great job of keeping the group together, taking that leadership role, keeping everyone moving in the right direction. Like I said, the goal this week will do a better job of finishing, like we talked about down in the red zone, and standing up here, and it's a little bit different outcome, a different discussion, but can't change that. All we can do is learn from it, and I think those O-linemen have done a great job of, moving around. Guys have played a lot of different spots, which, long term will help us down the road, where guys have that experience, that game experience. Anthony Bradford's getting better every day, getting in there at guard and getting more and more reps and accumulating more and more looks against NFL defenses, NFL fronts. So excited to see as these guys continue to grow, where they end up.
Since you lost the tackles week 2, how much of a challenge, Shane, has it been when to help with pass pro with the extra tight ends or chip, when not to, how to employ those in the middle of the game?
Yeah, I think, anytime you start your plan, whether the starting tackles are in there or the backup tackles are playing, like has been the case in the past few weeks, I think it all starts with that protection plan, understanding that each week the defense is going to present, and this week with Nick Rollis, the challenge of the different structures, along with the great rushers that they're going to have, and figuring out, okay, how much, what's the balance in there? Do we need to help guys because of scheme? Do we need to help guys because of personnel? And I think that's a weekly thing that we look at, regardless of who the starters are along the offensive front.
How much has that plan changed in game in the last couple of weeks?
In the game, within the game, I think, one thing we do is we go in with a pretty good volume, and then we were able to shift or pivot based on the feel of the game, where things are going, and then there's going to end up, in certain scenarios where, you're going to go with your best plays and feel like you give yourself the best chance, and if the game's tilting in a certain direction, or a blitz package is tilting in a certain direction, trying to preemptively call the plays that are going to have a little bit more help, maybe one side or the other, trying to account for that and letting the guys play.
Geno was really hard on himself after the game, and kind of was again when we talked to him earlier today. Do you ever talk to him about that? I mean, just kind of, I guess, make it clear. Obviously, not everything is his fault. Probably the way he sort of seemed to
Yeah, I think it starts with all of us because we're all in this together. I think Geno does a great job of it, of being the leader of our offensive group. But we talk about that accountability, and what can every individual do, starting with the coaches to help the players be in a better position to succeed. And then as an individual player, what was your role in every individual play, and looking to say, what's my accountability? How can I help the team win right there? And then trusting that the other 10 guys on the field are looking at every one of those plays and looking inwardly first, and then helping each other out, picking each other up. And so I love the fact that Geno's got that great accountability. I know that he's competitive and is always looking to do right for the team, do right longer, and as many opportunities he has to say, can I bounce right back? And that's one thing I've never worried about with Geno, is his ability to, whether it was a great game or a game that we didn't come out with the outcome we were looking for, by the time we hit that Wednesday, he's moved on, he's taken the corrections, he knows what he can do to help himself and help the team be better, and I think that's where we're at right now.
What did you make of
His performance overall, I think he did a great job, until we got into the red zone. And I think that was more, a cumulative effort, starting with me, with putting the guys in some better positions in terms of some of the play calls, and then obviously executing down and ending with touchdowns rather than, a field goal attempt or ended up stuck in the 4th down situation. So I think with Geno, again, just showing that he can handle all the situations, all the plays, and again, just like we're trying to do on offense, I think just putting together that complete game would be the thing we look back at and want to improve on moving forward.
Shane, I think you guys are 8th in scoring despite having the 3rd down struggles. What's your kind of thought on just what this offense can be if you guys are able to clean up that area?
Yeah, I still feel great. We got, skilled players and offensive linemen, and whether it's the running backs, tight ends, receivers, that can execute at a high level. And so whether, each week we've kind of talked about maybe different areas as far as situational football that have taken a dip and then risen back up. Like we mentioned, the field 3rd downs this past week, we did a better job there. The red zone took a little bit of a dip where we had some success earlier in the year there. The 1st and 2nd down execution has been maintained at a pretty high level right there. And so I think just putting all things together through the course of one game, is really what we're striving for on offense. And I think when we get to that point as coaches, as players, then I feel like we can be, competing with anybody in the league from a defensive standpoint.
You said the red zone stuff, so that starts with you. What needs to change under and I guess the red zone?
Yeah, I think I'll be critical on myself of looking back through every single game and the coulda, woulda, shoulda, but not necessarily just the coulda, woulda, shoulda, but like what is there? Is there a better answer that we could give a player in a certain situation? And I felt like towards the end of the game there's a couple opportunities where maybe I could have helped out the guys a little bit better with the calls. I think they did a nice job with their scheme at the end of the game right there, particularly on the way they played the 3rd down call down there in the red zone. So just looking at those, being really hard, like I said, looking inwardly first. What can I do to help the guys be better? What can we do as coaches to help them be better? And I think, having that accountability and then that appreciation for how hard it is for those guys to go out and execute versus all these things, how can we get them in a place where they feel totally comfortable with everything every single week?
What the penalty that Ken got, what's he supposed to do different?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay away from that one. So, apologize.
What is Jason Peters' readiness to play if you guys need to call him?
Yeah, I think he's done a great job. I think he's a guy that came in here knowing that need a little bit of a ramp up period here, and he's gotten there. So I think when that opportunity comes, he's got the offense down now, understands the calls, kind of came in here with that great base knowledge of knowing what to do. So feel good about him whenever that moment comes for him to step up and be part of the active game day roster.
Like the cadences and stuff, like a green 18 or whatever teams use. Do you know the origin of where that started?
The origin of the cadence. Gosh, that's a great question. Do you have the answer on that one?
No.
Oh man, I feel pretty good about where some of the systems came from, but as far as the true cadence goes, I don't know the different ones. I think just as a product of everyone's own experiences, you kind of carry over some of the cadences that you picked up from the start. And for me, a lot of the cadences have been very similar in some of the places I've been, and then you get together with the quarterbacks and come to an agreement of what's because player ownership of the cadence is paramount, right? The coach really doesn't have much impact on the cadence. They're not out there playing. So for us, it was a collaborative effort when I first got here, and of blending the cadence and then making sure we're all on the same page. But I would love to get a little report on the origin of the cadences there, especially I'm sure it's changed and adapted. I would love to know who the first team is that had to use a silent cadence. There's some pretty good football history probably behind that question.
I'll let you know. How do you decide on, like, I think you guys are a green team. How do you decide on what colors to use?
I can't give away our cadence right here while I'm standing up here. But no, there's every team has a different system with what their verbiage does or doesn't mean within the cadence. And like I said, I think we settled on ours and have a pretty good system we feel good about.
You said better play calls in the red zone. Do you mean protection, scheme, choice for routes? What was your introspective?
I'd say all of the above. I think, again, putting our guys in the best position to succeed at the end of the game, and I think there's an opportunity there, here and there, in a couple of those without getting into scheme specifics, where I can do a better job and will do a better job moving forward.
All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.